Hello, Valerie from BabywiseMom.com, talking with you today all about the Dreamfeed. We'll go over what a Dreamfeed is, benefits of a Dreamfeed, drawbacks of a Dreamfeed, and signs your baby is ready to stop and how to do so. But first, before we go any further, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. What is a Dreamfeed? A Dreamfeed is a fabulous tool to help you get more sleep at night and to also help make sure your baby gets enough feedings in the day. A Dreamfeed is a late evening feeding. So typically you'll have it in the 10 to 11 p.m. hour. Your baby will have been put down for the night already for bedtime. So it's like, according to your baby, it's like you're waking your baby up in the middle of the night and feeding your baby and then putting your baby right back down to sleep. There is no wake time afterwards. It is just a get up, feed, go back to sleep. This helps make sure your baby can get enough feedings in a 24-hour period, and it also helps so that you can sleep through the night longer for a normal sleep period. So instead of your baby eating at 7 p.m. and then being hungry at midnight when you've gone to bed at 10, you can feed your baby at 10, and then hopefully your baby can make it to more of like a 3 a.m. and you can sleep longer through your night. Is a Dreamfeed necessary? A lot of people hear about the Dreamfeed and think, oh, do I have to do that? Or they try it and it's hard and wonder, do I really have to try to make this work? No, the Dreamfeed is not necessary. It is just a beneficial tool to help you out. If it's not working or if you don't like that, then you don't have to do it. But you do need to be aware that without the Dreamfeed, your baby will need that feeding at some other point in the day. That will either mean you need to feed your baby more often in the daytime hours, or just expect and accept there will be more night feedings for your baby than there would be for a baby who's doing a Dreamfeed. Will the Dreamfeed definitely work? Maybe. For most babies, it does work. There are some parents who report that the Dreamfeed just does not work for them, did not work for their baby, and was not worth the heartache and difficulty it caused them. So a great benefit, if you think about the Dreamfeed, your first goal is for your baby to go 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep in the night. So if your baby's eating at 10, then 8 hours, we're going to 6 a.m. So if your baby is eating at 7, then the furthest you're going to make it is 3 with that first goal, which is fine and not a problem if that's what is happening and that's what you choose to go with. But obviously for a lot of people, they would love to get that 10 to 6 a.m. goal instead of a 7 to 3 a.m. goal. So will the Dreamfeed definitely work? For most babies it will. There will be some it won't work for, and for some parents it's just not worth the effort. I will say I had a couple of babies that I really had to work with to get the Dreamfeed to actually work and be a benefit. And so I would encourage you that if your baby is not just taking naturally and quickly to it, before you give up on the Dreamfeed altogether, be sure that it's not working because it's not going to work for your baby, and not simply that you need to tweak something in your approach with the Dreamfeed. There are a lot of little things that can make a big difference. Of course, it's not all sunshine and roses. There are drawbacks to the Dreamfeed. One drawback is that you have to stay up and wait for it. So there were lots of times where I just wanted to go to bed, but I had to stay up an extra 30 minutes in order to do the Dreamfeed. You can get around that if you have dad do the Dreamfeed in a bottle. Another drawback can be if your baby won't eat. So you're staying up or getting up to do this Dreamfeed and your baby will not wake up, will not eat, and so you spend all this time for nothing. And you could have gone to bed or you could have just relaxed. So that can be a drawback and a frustration. A third drawback is that for some babies, the Dreamfeed really does disrupt sleep more than it aids in sleep. That can really happen if you don't have your timing right and the circadian rhythm gets off. And so instead of it helping your baby sleep longer through your night, it actually makes it so the baby wakes up more often. This is not typical, especially if you can find that exact right timing for your dream feed, but there are babies that happens with. Despite potential drawbacks, I would encourage everyone to try the Dreamfeed and see if you can get it to work, because it is such a helpful tool if it works. So here are some tips for success. 1, make sure that feeding is happening between 10 and 11 p.m. That's the time of day to do your Dreamfeed. You don't want it at 11:30 p.m. That's a night feed. A Dreamfeed is happening between 10 and 11 p.m. Your second tip is, as you are trying this dream feed, take notes of what time you do the dream feed and how it goes. Some babies are super sensitive to the timing. I had one baby who had to have her dream feed in this 5-minute window. And if I had it before that 5-minute window or after that 5-minute window, she would not sleep well that night. But if I had it in that 5-minute window, she would sleep through the night, and she was actually my earliest baby to sleep through the night. But I had to have it just right. So you may find that your baby is that sensitive. Not all of my babies were that sensitive. It was just 1 out of the 4. But there is going to be a best window time. So try out different timings of the dream feed and see what is best for your baby. Your third tip for success is to unswaddle your baby, at least in the early days when you are just starting out the dream feed. Unswaddling your baby helps your baby wake up a little bit more. If your baby stays nice and cozy swaddled, your baby may not wake up and eat. So unswaddle your baby until your baby will actually consistently do the dream feed. Once you're doing the dream feed consistently, most babies can stay swaddled just fine and take it. Your next tip for success is to change the diaper. So that one of your reasons for doing the dream feed is to get a longer stretch at night. If it's been 2 to 3 hours since your baby's last diaper change and you have your baby up and out of bed and you don't take that opportunity to change the diaper, then you are setting yourself up for your baby waking in the night simply for a diaper change. So what I like to do is get my baby up, feed one side, and because I breastfed, so feed one side, then change the diaper, then feed the other side. That way I wasn't waking my baby up at the end of the dream feed. The diaper change was happening in the middle of the dream feed, so the baby could just drift off to sleep when we were done. The next tip for success is to burp your baby. Some people wonder if they should burp their baby. Again, you are looking for a longer stretch of sleep at night. So if you aren't burping your baby, then you risk your baby waking up from gas pain. So make sure you burp your baby. Your next tip is to keep the lights low or even off if you can. This will help your baby not wake up fully. This isn't as big of a deal with really young newborns because their day-night is off anyway, but especially as your baby gets older and associates light with being awake and dark with being asleep, make sure you keep your lights low to help keep baby drowsy. Your final tip for success is only wake your baby up as much as necessary. Obviously, your baby has to be awake somewhat in order to eat and take a feeding, but you don't want this full alert event happening. There's no wake time afterwards. Try not to interact. Don't talk to your baby. Don't do all the things you do in the daytime. Treat it like a night feeding where you just keep things quiet and subtle and cozy. Only wake your baby up as much as necessary to get that feeding happening. Okay, you may be wondering, when do I stop this dream feed? The range for most babies is 4 to 8 months old. There are some babies who will drop as early as 3 months old. So once your baby hits 3 months old, you can start paying attention, looking for signs to see if your baby's ready. It seems like most babies drop the dream feed around 4 to 5 months old. There are some signs to watch for to know if your baby's ready to drop or not. The first is that your baby is sleeping from the dream feed to your ideal morning wake up time. So if your dream feed's at 10:30 and you ideally want to have your first feeding of the day at 7 a.m., then your baby is not waking up between 10:30 and 7 a.m. for a feeding. Once that happens, it's smart to wait 2 weeks to make sure that it's a consistent new normal. and then you can consider dropping the Dreamfeed. You don't have to. If you really enjoy the Dreamfeed, you can keep it. And I had a couple of babies that I kept it for a month at least after the baby started sleeping through the night consistently because I just really enjoyed it. Another sign to watch for is if the Dreamfeed starts to interrupt sleep. So I had a baby who was sleeping through the night from a very young age, and then right around 4 months old, she started waking up in the middle of the night, which was very out of character at this point for her. And so I had thought, I think that she needs to drop that Dreamfeed. I think it's interrupting her normal circadian rhythms and making it so she's just not sleeping well. So we dropped the Dreamfeed, and she went right back to sleeping through the night with no problem. So you may find that the Dreamfeed was working great, but now is interfering with sleep, and at that point you want to drop it. That can be true even if your baby isn't sleeping through the night yet. So it may be that it's helping your baby sleep better, but then at some point it's interfering with sleep and preventing your baby from sleeping through the night. When it comes time to drop this Dreamfeed, there are lots of different ways you can do it. You can slowly decrease the amount of food your baby's getting at the Dreamfeed over time, or you can always just go cold turkey and just stop the Dreamfeed and see what happens. One point of encouragement is if you have the Dreamfeed and you think your baby's ready to drop it but you're not sure, it doesn't hurt to try. You can always try it, and if it doesn't go well, you can do the Dreamfeed again tomorrow. So if you feel like your baby's ready, go ahead and give it a try. And that does it for our discussion on the Dreamfeed. If you have questions, I have several posts on my blog about the Dreamfeed. I have one that's just a basic information about the Dreamfeed. I have one full of frequently asked questions because people do have a lot of questions about the Dreamfeed. I also have a post all about dropping the Dreamfeed. So if you're ready to drop and want a lot more details, I have a post on that. So be sure to check those out if you have more questions. And as always, thank you for watching.